there, Stampers. Welcome to day 10 of the 12 days of Christmas. This is Sherry Roth. I'm Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Canada, and I have been doing a 12 days of Christmas series. Hopefully you've been following along. We are nearing the end now. So today I have a version of this card that I'm going to share with you. This was inspired by something that I saw online by one of the Artisan Design team members, but I'm going to switch it up a little bit from this version here. Okay, so we are using the Night Before Christmas DSP, which has these beautiful patterns, such fun patterns. This I think is my favorite, but I love the one with the deer, the Christmas trees, the Santa hats, the lights, so fun. So we've got some really good imagery on this side and then more geometrical kind of patterns on the back. I love this Candy Cane one too. All right, so that's the Night Before Christmas DSP. And then we are also using the bundle that coordinates with that. So the Holly Jolly Christmas stamp set and the Jolly Season dies. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. First of all, I've got my card base, which is a piece of Night of Navy cardstock that measures 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4 for just a standard size card base. And then I've got 2 pieces of Very Vanilla cardstock, both measure 4 by 5.5 inches. And I am going to stamp using Night of Navy ink. I'm going to stamp this image from the Holly Jolly Christmas. I'm going to stamp it on the inside of the card. So one of these will be for the inside and one of them will be for the outside. So I'm just going to ink that up with navy, stamp this down. I apologize if my head is in the frame. I just want to make sure I get it straight. Okay. So that will go on the inside of the card. And then while I've got my ink out, I've got a 3/4 inch strip of vanilla cardstock, and I've got the word believe. So I'm going to ink that up with navy and stamp this down on that piece. And then I think all of our stamping is done. So I'll set that aside. Okay. Now this piece of DSP I've cut down to 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And I want just the slightest vanilla border all the way around. Actually, before we stick that down, we're gonna do something else. And then I've gone ahead and taken another piece and then fussy cut around the top. Now I didn't do a great job. I didn't cut around each one of those little pine bows. I did a rough job because it's gonna go right over top and you're not gonna notice how clean it was cut, okay? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to add some dimensionals to the back of this. And basically just to the top bits, because most of it will be cut off. I can go back and add some more dimensionals if I need it. I'll peel off the backing, and I probably will need a couple extra dimensionals on here after I get it stuck down. So I kept it a little bit larger because I didn't want to end up cutting out each one of these pieces. I want to easily be able to line this up and then just trim off the excess afterwards. Okay, so it's much easier to just do it in one fell swoop rather than those individual trees. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll turn it over and I'll use my long bladed scissors and just trim off that excess. You can use your paper cutter as well if you prefer. Probably would be faster with my paper cutter. There you go. I love this pattern because that can be used for birthdays. It can be used for lots of different things. Okay, so there we go. So you can see that this is quite loose. So I'll add another dimensional or 2 underneath here. Maybe another one there. Peel off the backings and stick that down. I think these ones are good. Okay, so now I'm ready and I can set this, attach this onto here. Actually, let's keep decorating this first. It's easier to snip off if we decorate first, then we can use that edge to snip it off. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to just angle cut this. I'll add just a little bit of adhesive to the bottom here, and then attach this to this beautiful candy cane striped ribbon that coordinates with this suite. And then I'll take my scissors and mimic that angle. And then this is going to get stuck right on here like this. So I'll add some more adhesive on here. Just like that. And then trim off this bit. Okay, now we're ready to stick this on here. Okay, so I'm gonna bring in my Tombow. I love this liquid glue because it gives you just a bit of time to get it just right before it sets. So I can slide it around, get it so that it's where I want it to be, make sure it's straight. Okay, and then that piece will go onto this navy. I think this is going to give a completely different look than the other one. While we've got the glue out, let's add this to the inside of the card. So this glue works really, really well. You really don't need a lot of it. A little bit goes a long way. If you just put a thin layer on the four corners and not too close to the corners, then you won't get any seepage around the outside, and it will hold forever and ever and ever. Okay, so let's move these little bits out of the way. Now we are going to bring in our big shot, and I've got a piece of basic black cardstock, and I'm going to use this Santa and his sleigh. We're going to cut that out of there. So I'm going to bring in my die cutting machine. We'll put that on there, run that through. I think this is my favorite die from this set. I just love this. All right, pull that out, get this out of the way. And then this pops out nicely. There we go. Look at that, so cute. So we're gonna add some dimensionals to the back of this. Oh, we're gonna need some thinner ones. Let's trim these. I like to use the ends of my dimensionals or around the edges to cut little strips. And that they fit nicely right on these reindeer, just like that. Okay, peel off the backing and then we'll stick it to the card. Just like that, super cute. Okay, and then I'm just going to add just a little linen thread bow, just right to the lower corner. Those of you who have been following along with me for a while, you know that linen thread or baker's twine bows are my favorite. I don't know, I just seem to need to add them to everything. Every project needs a little baker's twine or linen thread bow. So there we go. Look how different that looks just by adding that little bit of a vanilla border around the edge and trimming that down. So what do you guys think? I'd love to hear which one you prefer. Do you prefer the one with the border or without? Comment below and let me know. And if you're in Canada and you want to order any of these supplies, feel free to visit my blog at stamptreasures.com. And up at the top, you'll see a Shop Now button, and you can shop online. All right, I'll have a detailed list of the supplies that I've used below. You can also click on those clickable links to shop online. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you tomorrow for another Christmas idea. All right, take care.